I've talked before about the invasion of Europe, illegal immigrants moving to Europe in their hundreds of thousands, with Europe's leaders standing around apparently helpless, waving their hands. But in so many countries, the public is now fed up, alarmed at the changes to their nation by mass immigration. France now 10% Muslim, for instance, Britain 6.5%. But a perfect example of this disconnect between the public and the elites. For 2 years, the British government has worked on a plan to send illegal immigrants to Rwanda instead, to Africa. But the House of Lords, unelected, entitled, have just said, no, they can't have what they want. Joining me from London is Patrick Christys, star presenter at GB News. Patrick Christys, House of Lords saying no to this plan. How big a setback is it, and how out of touch are these lords and dames and ladies?
Well, ultimately, Rishi Sunak will probably get to bombard this through, but it is a setback, and also it just shows how out of touch the House of Lords are. It's the most expensive care home in Britain, the House of Lords. £350 a day this bunch of silly old duffers get, just for tapping their card on the way in so they can drink taxpayer-subsidised Chateauneuf de Pape and have a Côte de Boeuf for their lunch, meanwhile all the time frustrating the will of the people. It is an absolute shocker. The fact is, we are essentially being colonised by a load of fighting age males coming from countries that at times we have actually been at war with. Rishi Sunak did also lose one of his own MPs and a special advisor yesterday. Why? They don't think that the Rwanda bill is going to go far enough, which is actually what I think many people think. So he's copping it from both angles at the moment. There was a recent poll that came out yesterday that showed, now this will shock you, Andrew, if we had a Conservative Prime Minister who enforced Conservative values, he'd win a landslide at the next election. I just do not understand why Rishi Sunak is just doing his best impression of a lemming and running straight over the cliff into oblivion.
It's astonishing. The polls are so insistent on what the public wants, and the elites, the political media class, don't seem able or willing to listen. It's ridiculous.